Hey guys, what's going on? Inception here and welcome to another video. Ladies and gentlemen, we have the new Bruno Fernandes card to review today. This is the new gameplay objective card, and obviously he's a cool concept for me because of the fact that he's a beast Portuguese player. So, when we take a look at all of his in-games, we're taking a look at a card that is 5'10" with high work rates, right-footed, with 4-star skill moves and a 5-star weak foot. Now, when I used this card before, I used to use his Inform Sporting card, his, I believe it was a Halloween version of his card as well. When I used those versions, I was always saying that this card needed good base pace stats for him to be an absolute monster in this game. And the fact that his pace stats are at a 94 to 90 right now is really good. So he should perform like an absolute monster. But all of these base things right here that you see is obviously fantastic. High work rates in the cam position, CDM position, left mid, right mid position could be very nice to have for this card. And we're going to obviously get into that. In regards to traits, guys, he only has the flair trait, leadership as well, but he also has the outside foot shot trait as well. So it's obviously very important to have, because if he's going to be attacking in the cam positions, he does often find himself in positions where he does actually try to shoot with the outside of his foot with his right foot. But the fact that he has that trait as well as the 5-star weak foot, you're looking at an absolute monster, right? So in regards to upgrades, 94 acceleration with 90 sprint speed playing in the cam position is perfectly fine. You don't need to adjust that, right? Attacking positioning is at a 91 with 87 finishing, but he does have 99 shot power and 99 long shots. Just shooting stats are great for everything else but the finishing and attacking power, and he also has 97 composure for base card stats. So yes, you're improving it by a 2 with the sniper chemistry style, but the important thing with this card is the fact that all of those stats base-wise is really good, because if you give him the sniper chemistry style, you're going to make his finishing a 99, you're going to make his attacking positioning a 96, and that 96 attacking positioning is going to be very interesting to try with his high work rates. I figured out the tactics that I need to use with Bruno Fernandes in this team in particular, and honestly guys, it was the version before this one, so I'm assuming that this guy is going to move like an absolute monster on the pitch, right? So passing abilities with this card, that's the one thing I noticed the most when I had the lower rated versions, is that his passing for base card stats is brilliant. He passes the ball super nicely in game. It's just the way that he weights it. Obviously, the edge of the 18-yard box, when you make a through ball pass, it always goes to the goalkeeper. It's just a FIFA thing, right? But other than that, those passes that he makes, those tap passes where they, you double tap the pass button and it kind of like bounces the ball a little bit from through balls, from regular passes. His cards that were like the 91 and the 92, I believe, from this summer heat, those were already amazing at doing that, so I'm assuming that this one's going to be an absolute monster too. We're going to try all this out in game, obviously, but dribbling stats is something that you need to improve on the card, right? 88 agility with 89 balance is not going to be enough base card stats wise for a 5'10" player and the type of body type that he has in game. So giving him the sniper chemistry style while boosting his agility by a +10, balance by a +5, and then making everything else perfect to compensate for agility and balance not being essentially perfect, that's what you want the most on this card. And guys, lower rated versions were already moving really nicely. He just needed the base card stats for the pace to be good so that everything else can be improved really nicely, right? In regards to defending aspect, this card is really nice to have in the CDM position or the cam position because of the defensive presence that he has. You can also potentially use this guy as a left mid or a right mid in a 4-4-2, playing on the sides as a comeback and defense type of left mid or right mid, because of the fact that he also has a stamina at 99 with high work rates and some sort of defensive capabilities, right? So very important in regards to that. He also has 99 stamina, again, really good with the high work rates. 76 strength with 79 aggression is a welcome improvement as well, but obviously we want to focus mostly on his off-the-ball movement and on-the-ball movement in regards to how he moves on the pitch in specifically the cam position. We're going to be trying him out in a couple of different positions. But for this video, guys, we are going to start him off in a 4-2-3-1. Again, I was using the previous version, so I'll be playing him in the cam spot first. I figured out that for Diogo Jota, right, stay central target man, just seem to be the it factor for making Bruno Fernandes move really nicely, because he's pretty aggressive in regards to making those runs in the 18-yard box. So if Diogo Jota could be the type of guy that could potentially make runs, but also lay the ball off to other people, it could be really, really good. Everybody else is on stay back while attacking for CDMs and fullbacks. The rest of the cams are just on balance, because you want to test out their capabilities in regards to how they want to move off the ball. We will also be testing Bruno Fernandes out in a 4-4-2 formation, which will be this one right here, 5 and 4, 5 and 4. We'll have 5 for that one, but this one will be 5 and 4. And we'll have him playing in the right center defensive mid position. I'll just put Blanc on the side over here because I want to see how he plays in a 2 center mid formation. But we are also going to be trying him out in the CDM position. I may not even switch to the 4-4-2 because when you use the CDM position in a 4-2-3-1, you can test him out on balanced instructions to see what his attacking and defensive presence is like. So I'm probably just going to be doing that instead. But just in case, I'm just showing you guys what it would look like in game if I end up doing it. But in game, I'd probably switch him off to the right side if I, actually started the team like this, right? But again, he will be playing in the right center mid position for the review, just in case I use the 4-4-2, but we mostly will be using the 4-2-3-1. So let's get into a game, see how he plays. I'll tell you guys this right off the bat. Bruno Fernandes, I don't like him in the left attacking mid and right attacking mid position. He needs to play through the center, in my genuine opinion. So let's get into a game and see how he plays. All right, 4-2-3-1. Let's see how he plays. Hopefully his dribbling is actually really solid, because it's going to be very, very important for me to have a person that can dribble really quickly. So let's see if his height is an issue. Okay, fantastic. His height is not an issue. So his dribbling is going to be really good. Having the height is going to be an extra thing, of course, in order for him to attack really nicely. So let's see how that plays out. Lovely pass right there. Good weighted pass. Offers his support in the attacking areas, which is fantastic. How fast does he go back into the cam position, though? Okay, so he sticks out wide. So when that happens with these types of players, you kind of have to, slowly build up the play a certain way, right? Because he does stick to that position often, so you kind of have to be careful with the types of runs that you make with him. Nicely done. Little heel to heel. We'll try to get a cross off here. We don't get anything. Usually inside the 18-yard box, not really much happens. But I'm liking the way that he's moving so far. You do have to get used to him a little bit in regards to those specific movements that he does, but... Oh my god, I've been hitting the post a lot today, boys. Let me tell you, I was doing this objective, man. Today was one of those post days, boys. Alright guys, so I decided to change up the team a little bit because I feel like Bernardo Silva, because he plays so well strictly in the cam position, on the sides he likes to cut inside too much. I feel like it's affecting Bruno Fernandes in the way that he moves off the ball a little bit too much. I love the way that Quaresma and Rafa move on the side, so what we're going to be doing here is we're just going to change a few things, right? Formation-wise, we're going to have Blanc playing in the CDM with Battaglia, but Rafa will be off to the right side, Diogo Jota up top, with just the stay central instructions. So I want to see how he plays with this because he was moving a certain way, and I'm pretty sure it's because of Bernardo Silva. So I want to see how he plays with these guys in his team. This guy's got foot champs, Messi, and Benzema. Okay. All right, let's see how he plays with this one. Oh my god, I've been hitting the post so much today. It's insane, dudes. But a great strike by him regardless, man. I can tell you guys this right now, my team is moving significantly better with Rafa playing on the sides. It's just very, very important to have players move the way that you want them to move. Like with Bernardo Silva, I just didn't like how he was moving on the sides with Bruno Fernandes playing through the middle. So very, very important that we switch that. See how aggressive he is? Already running in behind the defense. Oh, man, I thought I was going to get him off that fake shot right there. Cuts inside. Little touch right there. We try to get the shot off. We don't get the shot off. We get super lucky because this game is beautiful. But you could see that when he pushes off to the sides, guys, he tries to go back into the middle as quick as possible and make that angled run. So it definitely worked out there. But so far, his movement is... not necessarily exactly what I want it to be, but I might have to just adjust my other attackers for him a little bit. You can see his high work rates when I don't tell him to come back in the fence. He's pretty close to defensive areas regardless. So he's super aggressive there. Does he come back into position quickly? He does. He kind of like lingers in the striker position though, you know? It's very interesting with him. See, when I make that pass, he instantly makes that run in behind the defense, right? So he's definitely going to be the aggressive type of cam, which is definitely going to be up to you whether or not you prefer that. But it doesn't necessarily make his movement terrible. It's just a personal preference whether you like it or not, right? And that right there, being able to do that quick little touch, get inside, shoot to the near post in that situation with good finishing, good shot power, really, really nice. His off-the-ball movement, guys, is something that I personally have to get used to, but you can see his outside foot shot tray right there playing a huge, huge effect. I do have to get used to his off-the-ball movement just a tiny bit because I'm not 100% used to it yet, so I have to adjust a few things here and there. Okay guys, so an interesting thing that I want to try out with Bruno Fernandes because of him being a super aggressive oriented cam is I want to try Diogo Jota on stay central, get in behind, because I want to see if that kind of voids the way that Fernandes moves into the attacking areas and whether or not he kind of sticks to his cam position more and chooses his runs in a better way. Obviously guys, the way that your players are around you, the way that they move is going to definitely affect the way that Bruno Fernandes moves. So, you know, with Quaresma and Rafa both being the types of cams that I personally like where they cut inside a lot, it's something that you kind of have to get used to in regards to how Bruno Fernandes wants to move. So I do want to try that out first, but I'll let you guys know if it's still something that I don't really prefer. It's so crazy how a person can like pull out their goalkeeper and then a player just goes into the net. I just completely disagree with a person being saved like that for making a stupid decision in a video game. Alright guys, so I did end up changing the instruction on Jota because the width between him and Bruno Fernandes I wasn't a huge fan of. So I just put him on balance. I want to see how he plays with that instead. You can see how like aggressive Bruno Fernandes is in regards to him playing in the cam position. He's occupying the striker position at that point. He's super aggressive, really, really aggressive. Even if you play him on balanced instructions, he just wants to run forward. So if this is the type of cam that you guys are going to like, you should 100 expect him to make those super, super aggressive runs in the attacking positions. The way that Bruno Fernandes positions himself when Jota's on balanced instructions is way better. You can see the way that he's moving. Look, he pushes out to the side. He's so aggressive, man. That's actually a really helpful playstyle to have when you face someone that's like super defensive like this, because he'll make runs like that, right? And you can just shoot it across goal and then potentially score it. So that's what I'm talking about. Like, again, these types of runs do not make these players bad. It's like personal preference, right? It's really important to have players that understand that they need to do that when they're facing, you know, super defensive-oriented teams. Or you just have to slow down your attacking play style and just wait for them to make those really, really good runs. That's two different runs that he made in behind the defense without needing a pace boost. Alright guys, so where we're going to try him out next is going to be in the CDM position, because I really feel like this card has a lot of potential to be used there. So because this is a decent rotational team, I'll be able to put Corona off to the cam position with Fernandes playing in the CDM position on balanced instructions while Laurent Blanc is on cover center, stay back while attacking. So let's try him out there. His positioning so far in the defensive areas when my opponent is attacking against me is actually pretty solid. So you can see that I'm just using Tecatito right here. The way that Laurent Blanc is occupying the middle position is quite solid, but so is Bruno Fernandes. Look at the way that he's staying in line with Laurent Blanc. Solid, man. Even in that situation right there when I was controlling Laurent Blanc the entire time, defensively he was actually positioning himself really nicely. This card could potentially be a very good CDM if you were to give him the shadow chemistry style, because increasing his pace as much as possible, or even potentially giving him the anchor chemistry style. I think anchor would probably be better, actually. He could be very solid there. Look at the way he's positioning himself right now. You see how I'm controlling Laurent Blanc the entire time? He's positioning himself in the middle really nicely while also blocking the opponents making that specific run. But it's not just the marking part, right? It's the fact that he can do that while still remaining in that semicircle area, right? Like just the edge of your 18-yard box. So I could definitely see that he could potentially play the CDM position really well. On balance instructions, he's actually somewhat defensive oriented. Like he's only gonna make runs when it's really, really obvious for him to make those runs, but he's not always gonna aggressively do it. So don't expect him to be an aggressive oriented CDM or center mid pushing forward. He'll only do it when it makes sense. So that's really good because you know you can kind of pick and choose your battles whenever you need him to actually make those specific runs. We're gonna keep trying him out there, and yeah. There he is. You can see him moving a little bit upwards, but he doesn't aggressively do it. So it's very, very solid because he can kind of get into positions like that where he'll open up the space for you. And then you could potentially score a sick little goal right like that, right? So again, if you want to use him in a CDM position, maybe with like an anchor chemistry style or something, guys, he definitely picks and chooses his battles whenever the opportunity presents itself really, really nicely, right? So he could definitely play the CDM position really nicely as a more attacking-oriented CDM, but he definitely has very good defensive characteristics about him for sure. Look, like if I control Laurent Blanc in this situation, I aggressively push up. You see how he instantly goes back? He has those defensive capabilities, man. Okay, guys, so the last thing that I want to do with Bruno Fernandes is I want to try him out in the striker position this time without any crazy instructions on him because I feel like the balance is what was working really well with Diogo Jota up there. So I want to switch Diogo Jota to the cam position with Bruno Fernandes up top because some people were wondering what he would be like in the striker position. So let's get into a game and see how he plays. Okay, so we'll switch back to... Oh, I can't even switch it right now. We'll switch back to the 4-2-3-1 and we'll go from there. It's really funny because he almost feels like a combination of a center forward slash winger playing up top at striker. It's very strange. It's definitely the type of card you have to set some instructions on if you're not really comfortable with the way that he's moving. Yeah. That's that defensive presence that he has right there. Positioning is good. Diogo Jota didn't make the best run right there for me to utilize empty space properly, but yeah, I kind of want to try him out on stay central for the striker position because I don't like that he likes to move a lot to the sides. Because, again, when strikers like to do that consistently, that's perfectly fine because when you give them the stay central instruction, I would say like a good 75% of the times, they end up moving significantly better. So I do want to try that out on him for sure. Notice how it's not Bruno Fernandes in that striker position. I haven't changed the instructions just yet with the stay central. I personally, I don't know. I need to try him on stay central first. I don't really like him too much right there, though, to be honest. I want to try him on stay central false 9, actually. Let's see how he plays with that. You see how he's playing off of Diogo Jota now that he's a false 9 type player? I don't know if I'll be able to get that. I do. Good skill move to get past the goalkeeper. Super aggressive in that area to get the ball back again. You could see that with the false 9, because Diogo Jota has the high work rates, they kind of made that switch right there, right? So they're working off of each other because of that. Alright guys, so final verdict on the Bruno Fernandes card. There's a few things that we got to talk about, right? So in the attacking areas, this is the type of card that needs to play in the middle because his movement in a left attacking mid or right attacking mid is not necessarily going to be the greatest. If you want to use him as a left mid and a right mid, you could totally do that, but his dribbling may not be as responsive as you'd like him to be because as you guys know with wingers like Sancho, like Rafa, or like Quaresma, those guys move on the pitch really quickly. Bruno Fernandes is not going to move like that. He feels like he belongs in the cam position. This is the type of card that if you were to use him as a center forward cam, that's where he would be best utilized, right? I did try him out in the CDM position, and I really liked that with the sniper chemistry style, his interceptions and defensive awareness, regardless of it being a 76 because of the high defensive work rates, he was staying in the middle really nicely. So if you want, right, you could totally give this card an anchor chemistry style, boost his physical, boost his defending, and boost his pace because Guys, he actually played the middle position in the CDM area really nicely. On balance instructions in the CDM position, and expect this to be for your center mid as well, he really picks his runs in regards to when he should make them and when he shouldn't, which is great. I actually really like that. I don't like players that are always super aggressive because sometimes it leaves you very vulnerable in the defense. So I like that he really picks and chooses his runs really nicely in the midfield area as well. This card is very solid. I like him mostly because of sentimental value. In regards to the gameplay issue in the game, maybe I would prefer to use the Bernardo Silva still on top of this card just because he's more responsive given the situation of the game. But guys, even having the 5-star weak foot is a huge gameplay difference on your team because of the fact that, you know, if you want to make those specific passes, you want to make those specific near post strikes, he's going to be able to do that for you. What I will say for the final thing though is his outside foot shot trait, right? I feel like even when he's passing the ball, he likes to preferably pass with his right foot, even if that means an outside foot pass as well. So it's not even just the shot. I don't even know if it's a thing, but I noticed that's what he likes to do in particular when he's making those passes. But guys, when he passes the ball, he's very, very accurate. So if you want to use him in the midfield position in a center mid CDM, he'll be very solid with the right chemistry styles. If you want to use him in the cam position, just look out for his aggressive runs. You may want to use like a high medium striker up top so you can balance the way that he wants to move on the pitch, because Bernardo Silva is the type of dude that moves like this constantly. Bruno Fernandes is a little bit more like, I see the space, I'm going to run into it instantly. Like Bernardo Silva likes to kind of like cut inside sometimes, all those types of runs. And again, more responsive because of the height that he has. But I enjoyed using the card. I'm going to figure out some different ways for me to use him in the team. I might actually use him as a CDM and replace Battaglia, but I'm not 100% sure just yet. So thank you guys so much for watching the video. I'll catch you guys for the next one. Peace out, dudes. Love you guys.